Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Magaly Heriveaux. We'll be discussing her fantastic poetry book, Nothing More to Say, available for purchase through Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. But if you guys want to gather everything that she has to offer, do yourself a favor and head directly to her personal site. That's MagalyHeriveauxBooks.com. I'm going to spell that for you just to make sure there's no misunderstanding. That's MagalyHeriveaux Books.com. There, not only will you be able to find more information on herself, but you'll find more information on this fantastic book, as well as find hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing page. So one more time, that's MagalyHeriveauxBooks.com. And guys, I will say, Magaly was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business. UR Link Print and Media Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, do yourself a favor and contact our great friends over there at UR Link. And you can find out more information on them at urlinkpublishing.com. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Magaly, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you so much for being a guest. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. And thank you very much for asking. And again, thank you very much for being a guest. We're very much looking forward to this. And again, given the past year and a half, feeling probably more like 20 years, with this pandemic, there's been a lot of turbulence. There's been a lot of adversity, a lot of roadblocks that have been set up in front of us. And a book of this magnitude that is truly, again, meant to inspire is something I feel is exactly what we need. Right? So it's so timely, and we're really looking forward to this. Now, I know we have so much information to cover, but before we go into the book, Magaly, let's hold off slightly. Start by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Well, basically, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, to very loving parents who stayed together for basically 40 years or so. My dad passed on in 2003, but his memory still lives on with me. During the course of growing up, I decided to take on some human service studies. I went away to Michigan. I did some coursework there, and I graduated in psychology. After spending some time there in schooling, I came back to New York, where I was born and raised. I worked here for several more years, and then I also continued on with further education, in my studies, social work, psychology, the humanitarian sector. I chose those fields because I enjoy helping people, learning about different types of people, and just being connected to other individuals, because I believe that that's what keeps us alive, being around other people and reaching out to others. Not only that are similar to us, but that are also different from us too. In the past, I had traveled, definitely pre-COVID. I've gone to Germany, I've gone to Barbados, Jamaica, Mexico with friends or family members, because I just simply love learning about different people and just spending time with the ones that I love. So I hope this gives you a gist about the type of person that I am, the things that I'm interested in, the things that I wish to continue to pursue. And, obviously writing is one of those passions. And when you spend time with different types of people, it kind of evokes that desire to write and to capture all of those moments in a different way. You could capture them in pictures, but when you write, you could be so much more expressive in those regards. So basically, this, in a nutshell, this is who I am.
Now, Magaly, without further ado, Nothing More to Say. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
Okay, well, basically, nothing more to say. It was written over a period of time. It wasn't an all-in-one sitting. It's basically a book of inspirational poems. They're meant to be uplifting and also very thought-provoking. I find that in these book of poems, they help encourage others, and they find some common ground and commonality that is often forgotten about in the midst of everybody trying so hard to get their opinions across, because everybody is so different from each other. They have their different views, political views, religious views, you name it. Everybody's always caught up in the differences, but yet they forget the refreshing moments of our innate nature to be connected as one. You know, we're all from the same human race at the end of the day. We all need love. We all need a sense of recognition and acknowledgement, and a sense of connectedness towards each other. So I feel that these poems will help bring that back, as far as having that same common bond that we have all forgotten about. So it speaks to its humanity, it speaks to its uniqueness, but at the same time, it speaks to how we're all one and the same. So that's what these book of inspirational poems will do. And they're written in very down-to-earth language, so that even children can read through it along with their family. So this is the type of book that have encouraged me over a period of time. I've put it together. Some of those times were very happy times, which inspired me to write. But there were other times that were very challenging times that also encouraged me to write. So the compilation of those moments are captured in this very simple book of inspirational poems. And I felt that it would be something that is worth sharing with others, and leaving a very positive contribution behind. So it's something that is worth exploring for those many reasons.
Magaly, sticking with inspiration, since you've already started to go into it, let's go in that direction a little bit further. With regards to poetry, did you always find that you gravitated towards poetry? Where does that love for poetry come from? Other artists, people? Talk to us a little bit more about that.
I've always gravitated towards poetry since, as a child. Growing up, I would read different poets. Sometimes I would memorize them. I would recite them in church. I found a lot of solace and comfort in reading it. And over a period of time, I saw that I was able to channel into myself and also write. As we all know, I think that Maya Angelou is everybody's favorite poet. We owe a lot to her. And although my style is different from her, she inspires me on a very great level. So I feel that she's definitely one of the poets out there that has captured my attention. Langston Hughes is another one, another writer that has moved me greatly. So yeah, there are several out there that speaks volumes to me. But when I write, they don't necessarily come to mind. I use my emotions to move me. I try not to write from my head. I try to write from my heart. So if I'm sad, I might start writing. If I'm joyful, then I'll write. If I'm angry, then I'll take those emotions and I'll channel it. I'll take my pen and I'll write, you know. Like Voltaire would say, you know, the pen mightier than the sword. So instead of acting on the anger, I would take it and write it out. And I would keep on writing until that moment has passed. And I'm at a ultimate calm state of mind. That's how I've found a way to compile this book of inspirational poems.
Again, here in the line with Magaly Heriveaux. We're discussing her fantastic poetry book, Nothing More to Say, available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, or directly through her personal site, MagalyHeriveauxBooks.com. Now, Magaly, I need to hurry up and ask this next question because my listening audience is going to get very upset with me if I don't cross this bridge, okay? Now, we've discussed so much already. We know about your background. We know about your inspiration, and we also know about the narrative. What we don't know is any of your poems specifically. So I'd love to take this opportunity, if you have one that's readily available that you can read for us. I'm sure myself and my listening audience would love to hear it.
I have one here, and it is called Rise Up. So I'm going to share this particular poem with you because I find this one very inspirational. And, you know, I think that everyone will enjoy it. So here we go. It's called Rise Up. Rise up out of bed and pray. Count your blessings throughout the day. Tell your loved ones that you care. Stay clear of greed and learn to share. Live for love and nothing else. Avoid crude people who think of themselves. Keep your spirits up and continue to strive. Confound others as you continue to thrive. Stay away from people who can't rebuke you to your face. Get rid of exploitation. It's all over the place. Do not be ruled by intimidation. Say you've had enough and start each day with fresh anticipation.
I'm inspired. I love it. And guys, there's so much more just like that within the book. So you know what you have to do. Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com is where you have to go. You know, Magaly, next question that I'd love to go into. Since your book is all about inspiration, and we know, as we discussed in the pre-screening call, given the past couple of years with this pandemic and the variations of lockdown that we've all experienced, you know, inspiration is definitely needed, right? It's in short supply right now, I feel, across the board because of the turbulence and obstacles in our way. But I'm curious, Magaly, any words of wisdom, any tips that you can offer our listening audience, anybody out there listening in right now and is going through their own rough patch and aren't really sure how to get through and they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, what words of wisdom would you be able to relay?
I would say that during this difficult time that we've all endured as a nation and globally, that people have definitely become discouraged, and you know, now that we're trying to move forward with our lives and try to console those that have lost loved ones along the way, we want to make sure that this pandemic has not defeated us emotionally and mentally. So my words of wisdom would be, do not forget your first love, you know, do not forget what your passion is for life, the very thing that helps keep you going, the very thing that gives you meaning and purpose. People have become so discouraged, they've become depressed, that over a period of time, they've gradually forgotten what their specific first love is. I can't speak for someone else what that might be, but you know for yourself what your first love is. Whether it's painting, whether it's going to the park again, whether it's simply riding your bike, spending time with your family again. with all this social distancing, is kind of more than what some people were able to bear emotionally and mentally, you know. So just reuniting with your loved ones, those that care, very positive people that were in your life, reconnecting with them, and just reminding yourself that it's okay to feel alive again. If you're short of friends, reach out for others that are caring, that in the caring profession, that are willing to listen to you. It doesn't have to be necessarily something formal per se. You could find some informal people in the caring profession. They might have some outdoor booths set up, for example, and they might speak to you and take the time to just listen to you. Because it's one thing to have a conversation, but it's another thing to actually feel that you've been heard, that someone actually hears you and, validates your feelings and your emotions. So these are some of the things that were very difficult and very trying over this pandemic. But if we remember to rekindle our first love and reach out for those very things that can comfort us and support us, or reach out for the very people that were once there, and we can now spend time with them again and pick up those pieces and move forward, and also remember those that we have lost along the way and keep their memory alive too. I think these are all the things that will help us as we get past this pandemic that has tried to rob us of our morale. So I think that's what we can do for ourselves.
Absolutely. Magaly, what would you say was a highlight for you in this process? Either writing the poetry, getting it published, the entire process. Was there something that you would categorize as a highlight, or if not a highlight, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't expecting prior to embarking upon it?
I would say the highlight for me was were the reactions that I was getting from some of the poems that I put out there. I tested some of the poems out on my own personal page. I kind of put a few poems out there, and I got a few likes, we got a few comments, and that was a very rewarding experience for me. Something that I personally created with good intentions, and I shared it. So it's like sharing an extension of myself, a part of myself, and getting that positive feedback from some of the people on social media, on my own personal page. So with that, combined with the actual finished product of having everything combined in one book, is the most ultimate feeling of satisfaction, that I could possibly share. So I would say that's the highlight of the book, sharing it and just having that feeling of satisfaction that it was completed and it is now open to the world for whoever wants to, venture out and pick up a copy or just browse through it and just get a sense of spirituality and inspiration too.
There you have it. And I can think of no better way than to end such a fantastic interview than with another one of your poems. So again, if you have another one readily available, we would truly appreciate it.
I do have another one, and it's very inspirational to me, and it reads, "I don't care." That's the title of it. Now, I remember earlier I mentioned that some of those poems were birthed through very positive memories. Some of those poems were birthed through very challenging times. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read this one, and it's called "I Don't Care." So it goes something like this. I do not care how hard you try. I choose life, and I will not die. As long as we are here, we should keep praising his name. He is my love, and I know he feels the same. I do not care how much others have or about their place in society. The thing that's most important is how people treat me. Being a loving person and making God first, these attributes are priceless and are the things we should thirst. It doesn't matter what bad things we've been told. We cannot be replaced, and we are more precious than gold. Do not buy into the superficial buzz. God adores us all and will always show us his love.
Magaly, we've discussed so much information so far today, but is there anything else that we haven't yet touched up on that you really want to make sure our listening audience is aware of?
Well, actually, now that you've mentioned it, my book and some other books, nothing more to say, and some other books will actually be at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books on April 23rd and April 24th, 2022. So I wanted to make sure that, whoever is in the Los Angeles area around that time, or whoever wants to visit Los Angeles around that time, please check it out. They're having the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books. You could Google it, and it'll be going on April 23rd and April 24th on 2022. Okay?
Fantastic. Magaly, thank you so much for all of that. Guys, you know what I love so much about this? Is listen, we're at the end of the interview now, and we've discovered so much information, but yet we've barely scratched the surface. There's still so much left to be gathered, to be recognized, to be found within the confines of the book. And that's why Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Magaly, HeriveauxBooks.com are the places you have to go. Nothing More to Say is the title you have to pick up. And Magaly Heriveaux is the author you have to thank for bringing it to your table. You surely will not be disappointed. This is a fantastic and uplifting book to be on everyone's shelf at any moment, but especially given what we've all gone through and what we continue to go through, because let's call a spade. We're not through it just yet. Now we can start to see a faint light in the distance, but we're not quite there yet. So in the interim, while we're slowly but surely chipping our way there, pick up this book to give you that extra dose of motivation and inspiration you need to help during those tough times. Magaly, thank you once again. This has been such a pleasure and truly an honor. Thank you for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's been such a pleasure also to have the interview and to share my book with you and everyone else. Thank you so much.